Hello and welcome to the first episode of This Week in Gaming, the gaming news show that'll make you say, that's a video. We'll dive right into our first topic, which is that Sony has apparently landed a partnership deal with McDonald's and... They didn't? Well then why the f*** is it a Big Mac? Well then bleep it out, because this has earned a very pronounced what the fuck. Anyways, the new PS4 will have a leg up on its competition, the Xbox Scorpio, as it comes out this November 10th. They're not competing with Scorpio? That's good for them, because this pales in comparison. They want to compete with PC. When speaking with The Guardian, Andrew House, the head of Sony Interactive Entertainment, had this to say. When PlayStation 4 Pro was being conceived, there wasn't a word about Project Scorpio in the marketplace. I would suggest that reactive isn't our approach this time around. I saw some data that really influenced me. It suggested that there's a dip mid-console lifecycle where the players who want the very best graphical experience will start to migrate to PC, because that's obviously where it's to be had. We wanted to keep those people within our ecosystem by giving them the very best and very highest performance quality. So the net result of those thoughts was the PlayStation 4 Pro, and by and large, a graphical approach to game improvement. You know how to compete with PC, Sony? You don't. You work with them. When asked about the PS4 Pro's lack of a 4K Blu-ray drive that... Are you kidding me? It doesn't... They own the fucking patent! When asked about the lack of the drive, Andrew House responded. Our feeling is that while physical media continues to be a big part of the game's business, we see a trend on video towards streaming, certainly with our user base. It's the second biggest use case for people's time on the system, so we place more emphasis on that area. Andrew, you do realize that the people who care about watching 4K video consistently tend to have the same disposable income to buy 4K Blu-rays. And with the way that ISPs are in the US, and quite a few other places, that's the only legitimate option at this point. Moving on, Andrew was then asked about the future of console development life cycles, and this is what he had to say. I think that since this is our first foray into this kind of mid-cycle innovation, it's far too early to call that. We think that for a really substantial period of time, this is the PlayStation 4 lineup. We're very comfortable with that. Wait, so you know you're going to be completely destroyed by not only the Xbox Scorpio, but the PCs you claim to be competing against? And you have no plans to combat that in the future. The other new PS4, which is the new base model, but has been nicknamed the Slim by the public, comes out this week on September 15th. And with new consoles come new peripherals in the form of a new PS4 controller, PS4 camera, vertical stand, and the Platinum wireless headset. Our next story comes from Bethesda in regards to mod support on the PS4 for Fallout 4, which is currently released, and the upcoming Skyrim remaster. On their site, they had this to say. After months of discussion with Sony, we regret to say that while we have long been ready to offer mod support on PlayStation 4, Sony has informed us that they will not approve user mods the way they should work, where users can do anything they want for either Fallout 4 or Skyrim Special Edition. Like you, we are disappointed by Sony's decision given the considerable time and effort we have put into this project and amount of time our fans have waited for mod support to arrive. We consider this an important initiative and we hope to find other ways user mods can be available for our PlayStation audience. However, until Sony will allow us to offer proper mod support for PS4, that content for Fallout 4 and Skyrim on PlayStation 4 will not be available. We will provide an update if and when the situation changes. Okay, I know I'm starting to look like a Sony hater at this point, and I promise you I'm not. But what the f***, Sony? Get your shit together, please. Up until this point, I've been in the PS4's corner for this generation. Even when it comes in regards to their garbage network. Speaking of which, an independent company named IHS Markit, apparently they do spell it like that. Anyways, they did extensive tests of both PlayStation Network and Xbox Live in several categories, and in every category, Xbox Live came out the victor except in regards to finding players for matchmaking. Meanwhile, the rest of the world responds, duh! Microsoft, whose PR team has been quite vicious in regards to its online marketing, took no time to capitalize on this fact, ingraining it into its online advertisements. And as a side note, I want to applaud whoever's running their social media accounts, because their responses to everything Sony has been doing have been golden. It's been hilarious to watch Sony stumble and Microsoft capitalize on it within moments. And in our next story, Microsoft has rolled out Halo 5's level editor Forge for Windows 10. This gives PC users the ability to create and edit maps for Halo 5. While Halo 5 is not available for PC, nor do we know if it ever will be, there is limited multiplayer for Forge, allowing PC users to play and test custom arena maps before sharing them with their console counterpart. Moving on from Sony and Microsoft, our next bit of news comes from Studio Wildcard, who has recently come under fire for releasing paid DLC for their early access title. Let me repeat that. Paid DLC for an early access title. The Scumbag studio had this to say. Firstly, an empathetic thank you to the art community for the love they have shown towards the game. Your creations, your feedback, and your support have meant the world to us. Thank you. We'd also like to provide our official take on the Scorched Earth expansion pack and the future of ARK. Put simply, we are absolutely committed to driving aggressive development towards a solid, feature-robust game launch for ARK Survival Evolved. Everyone at Wildcard wakes up every day thinking about how we can make ARK into a better game today than it was the day before. It's not always easy, but our intent is to ever forward progress towards a retail release that will be far more ambitious in scope and features than our original vision when we launched ARK into Steam Early Access in June 2015. Your feedback enables us to continually expand the game to become better than ever. Here's some fucking feedback for you. Go fuck yourself. They continued saying, Scorched Earth. Our original vision for ARK always included the creation of expansion ARKs, along with the infrastructure and technical systems to transfer data dynamically between live ARKs. We determined that it is more sound to iterate on these systems during early access than after retail launch, given the significant risks involved if we didn't get it right. While that meant unveiling the first expansion early, it also means an easier time integrating further post-launch expansions into the ARK network. We understand that this isn't everyone's cup of tea, and we appreciate the enjoyment people seem to be getting out of this initial view of how expansion ARKs can work. Now that we have the systems in place to support them, we can ensure minimal integration issues with subsequent releases after ARK Survival Evolved itself has launched. Translation: we've always been pieces of shit, we're just letting you see it now. But for some reason, they kept on fucking talking. Thank you so much to everyone who has been surviving on Scorched Earth, and we hope that the new features and content that it brings into the ARK universe will enrich all players' experiences, whatever map or mode you're playing on. And in the weeks ahead, we're looking forward to seeing what modders can make with the Scorched Earth content and the powerful new blueprint systems coming with them. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm never going to support this festering pile of filth that is Studio Wildcard in the future. It's a shame too, because they have yet to release a single game. And no, early access doesn't count. That's a glorified paid-for beta. Let's move on to another story that doesn't make me want to vomit all over myself. Duke Nukem 3D turns 20 this year. It's too bad they never made another one. Anyways, another landmark, another re-release. Duke Nukem 3D World Tour will be releasing October 11th for PC, PS4, and Xbox One at a price of $20, or your region equivalent. It features a new renderer for the game to preserve the look and style of the game while reducing the stretched imagery, as well as a new weapon, new enemy, and some new voice lines, voiced from John St. John. Speaking of older titles, the publisher Interplay is selling off all of its owned IPs. This includes, but is not limited to, Earthworm Jim, Descent, Free Space, MDK, and Battle Chess. I highly recommend all of these titles for different reasons, though some of them do hold up for better than others. Hopefully EA hasn't heard the news. Oh hey, an EA story! If you're a subscriber to Origin Access, EA Access on the Xbox One, I have some disappointing news for you. For those of you who don't know, Origin Access is a subscription service from EA that not only allows you select previous titles free while you're subscribed, but also gives you discounts on new games, as well as giving you up to 4 days early to play the game before release. Unless that game is Titanfall 2, which has been excluded from the Origin Access program, not only in the early access 4 days before release, but also in the discounts from the subscription. This is starting to look like a trend in EA's attitude towards the futuristic first-person shooter, considering the release is just a week after Battlefield 1. One has to wonder why EA is putting so much grief upon Respawn. This can't be accidental, nor can they claim ignorance or developer fault. However, it is EA, so they probably will anyways. Moving on, Rocket League has received an update adding a chaotic new mode called Rumble, as well as, cases and keys. Come on, Psyonix, don't do this. Don't let your success go to your head. Don't fall to the temptation of greed. Shit, it's too late. Individual keys cost $149, whereas bundles of keys cost $5, $10, or $20 for bundles of $5, $10, or $20. Come on, you were the good guys. Don't go Harvey Dent on me. Don't become the villain. Another title has also gotten an update, this title being Overwatch. Sorry PS4 and Xbox One, it's only PC for now, and it's titled the High Bandwidth Update. This update gives players the chance to play on servers with better tick rates as long as your connection can handle it. And by better tick rates, I mean no longer f***ing abysmal. Seriously, 20 tick is not okay. It should have never been accepted in the first place. And yes, I know it's Blizzard and Blizzard can do no wrong, but they did wrong. But this update shows that they're at least attempting to make it right. That's all the news we have time for this week, but tune in next week as we'll be refining this weekly news show as well as constantly improving it. And yeah, I did say weekly. I'm sure I won't f that up. If you want more news and less of my shitty opinions, another AJSA commander, Legolas Katarn, does a weekly roundup of news articles and posts them in one article, which can be found on the AJSA site, and I'll link it down below. This has been This Week in Gaming with your host, me, Jaysons Rage, and until next time, you all stay sexy out there.